that grenade scared it off for good, eh?
No. She'll be back.
Welcome to the second episode of this new series on Horror Fiend TV, Below the Surface, where we discuss basically films where something beneath the surface that is lurking in all these movies. Everybody gets messed up because let's be honest, either they're nosy or they just stumble upon a place they shouldn't be. So this one in particular, I've heard a lot during, when it came out. I heard a lot about it during, Instagram. People were talking about this film. So if I did not bring Angel from from the Mausoleum to this episode, she would have killed me. so Angel, thank you for joining us. And I will leave her links below. And that way, please follow her. She does great content creating. She has various shows. She brings in a lot of guests. She is big as far as one of the people in the horror community, trying to expand the community. Because one of the things that when we first met, we agreed on is this is a community that should continue to expand, continue to work together, and talk movies. Because, hey, it's a genre that if the regular person be like, why the hell do you guys want to talk horror? Well, we do. So, Angel, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be doing content with you guys again. I'm working on something scheduled with Joe for our show, so I'm just excited in general to be getting back to doing stuff with other people. I had people still coming onto my show, but I just didn't have a lot of time to do collaborations and stuff. So when you asked about this, I was super excited to be doing stuff with you guys again. And you and I haven't done anything it's been a long time.
It's been a very long time. It's been a very long time. I have like two episodes from two different shows I'm holding off on just to get you on board.
Ooh,
because if I do Killer Clowns from Outer Space without you, you'll kill me.
I love that movie. Yeah.
And if I don't do Ganja Asylum with you,
I love Ganja is my everything. Yeah,
so we haven't talked about it. So she'll appear on more shows, more episodes, and glad to have her back. And like I said before, she is probably one of the biggest fans of shark films. I know. When we first met, we talked about some shark films, but we were more into found footage horror. But shark films has been something we've talked about, a lot. Yeah. So, and this one's an interesting film because if you don't know this director, Kiahroache-Turner, he's done Wormwood, and he's wrote and directed Wormwood. And he did one called Sting, which I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things about Sting.
I don't think I know that one. Yeah.
It's the spiders, so always spiders freak me out.
Oh, it came out around the same time as the other one.
Yes.
I didn't see Sting, but I saw
Infested. I think the other one was Infested, I believe.
Infested, yeah. Yes. I saw Infested, but I remember seeing the poster for Sting. I just never watched it.
Which I give him credit for. He writes and directs his own films, which as a filmmaker, that's awesome because you're bringing out your creation and you have more control. Yeah. And this one, the cast, I did not know any of these people in this film. You have Mark Cole Smith playing Leo. Yeah, Sam Dillish playing Dez, which is, we'll talk about Dez, I'm sure, in this film. And then Joel Nankersley as Will, which was, you always get that one nice guy in this film. But this film was interesting because it did take place during World War II. And it did draw a lot of its inspiration from the USS Indianapolis. If you don't know what that is, it's basically it's the ship that delivered the atomic bomb, but unfortunately their mission was a secret and they got torpedoed and a lot of sailors died in the waters, not only from the attack but shark attacks. Now this one does have similar as far as there was the Ammerdale, which was the ship that was sunk, and this is where he got his inspiration from. And I think it was 107 people that survived, when the ship sunk. But you know, there were people that were trapped in a raft and they had to fend off sharks while they were
Yeah.
waiting to get rescued.
Yeah.
But I want to know what were your initial thoughts on this film when you first started watching it?
Yeah, so I know we've talked before about I don't like when shark movies have a lot of people parts. So the beginning I was kind of like, "Oh no, like this is going to take forever. They're not anywhere near water right now." So I was like, "Okay, let me just try." So I got through it. I managed. No, I think it was an interesting take because I think, if I'm not mistaken, based on it being in 1942 and where they are in Australia, I think this is supposed to be around the same time as the Japanese air raid for Darwin, Australia. So it's like, and I used to be like a really big history person. I used to do like reenactments and the whole nine. So the history element of it was intriguing and very unique, I would say for sure. But no, I ultimately, I think the beginning parts really kind of set up why you end up feeling the way you do about the characters when the shit hits the fan. And I think that the fact that it's essentially, it's a period piece about during World War II, and there's this a lot of conversation around that and what that life was like for them and the things that they went through. So I thought it was a really unique take. And then, I mean, ultimately, the shark element I did find to be worth the wait, which I'm glad, because sometimes, Lord, like some movies, I'm like, I fast forward until I get to the shark parts, or I spend all this time waiting and you get there and you're like, what am I doing with my time? But this, I felt like it was worth the wait. Like I didn't feel robbed of anything. I think it's a valid shark film. I don't think it didn't feel too much of something totally different, but it had enough that made it different. So I really liked it. It was very, very unique experience, I would say.
Did you like the fact that, because I know, listening to the director, he didn't want any CGI. He
Yeah.
wanted basically the practical effects.
Yep.
And did you think the practical effects worked as far as the shark on this film?
Yeah, I think you can tell that the shark only does one motion, but I don't know that that's a bad thing because you always see him like this, right? He's always like, it looks like the animatronic that they had for the Jaws ride in Universal. But it's very like I think because you do get the other pieces of the shark underwater where it's not doing that, you kind of just put that in the back of your head. You don't really think about it. But no, I think the effects were good, especially because to me I feel like for the most part, unless it's like really, really expensive CGI, with body horror, you can usually tell when it's all CGI. Like you can usually tell because it just looks different. But this looked really good. It was very gritty and gory and gross and stringy and all the things that you would expect in any situation related to war or shark attacks. So I think they did a really good job. And the shark's fun to me because he looks like a little old man. I know it's a female shark and because how big she is and everything. Okay, so she looks like a little grandma, but she looks old and battered. Like this bitch has been through war herself. And I didn't hate that. I thought it kind of gave her like a little edge, and I was fine with that. But no, I think all of that looked really good. I was happy with the way the shark looked, which is obviously a very big deal when you're talking about a movie with a shark as the main problem, right? So, or one of the main problems, I guess, in this one. But no, I thought it looked good.
What I liked about it too is it did give you like I'll be honest, Australian shark films are just so good
Yeah.
because they have this unique where they basically, even though they don't know the shark, it's there. They don't
Yeah.
have to always show it.
Yeah.
And you know it's there. And that's what I liked about this film, that you didn't have to show the shark all the time. And
No.
the first time they showed the shark, I thought it was all right. It was Jaws. I had it coming from underneath that guy who was on the
Yeah,
barrel shooting up.
100%.
When I see that, I was like, all right, I love this. Then the second shark attack comes, and it's basically her coming at you, I'm sorry, which was almost similar to the scene where Brody's holding the cable.
The boat, right? Or yeah.
So
Yeah, it
I
reminded me of
like the
that.
fact that you saw a lot of these homages to Jaws.
Yeah.
And one of the most unique things they did in this film, which I would have never thought about it, and I thought it was awesome, where the shark attacked. I forgot the name of the character, but the air siren was
The
stuck on
siren.
I loved that. That was
That was
so.
so eerie.
It,
Yeah.
it was because you see him there like, what's that sound? And you heard the sound the first time when they're going crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that is freaking awesome because
Yeah.
you know it's coming. And then they had the whole thing of, like just like the presence of it. Now you add the sound effect to it, and then to top it off, I like the detail because a lot of shark films, don't really do this where they tell you it's a female. Why? Because the females were
because of the
bigger than the
size.
males. Yes, which
Yeah.
I love that. I know we
Yeah.
mentioned, quickly about the in the beginning about the characters.
Hmm.
So, I know you had text and you're like, oh my god, these first couple minutes, I got a flashback when, you started watching Open Water 3 Cage Dive, like, oh, the
Yeah,
first 20 seconds.
I did fast forward that though. I fast forwarded it to the part where they were in the damn water because I was like, I can't do this for. But these characters are way better written. There's a lot of depth and like this was the characters in Cage Dive are like one dimensional.
Yeah.
Oh no, I want to be I want to, have a relationship with your best friend or your brother. And I'm like, I literally don't care about this. Get in the water. Whereas this was like, the characters were characters, like I said, that you genuinely end up caring about them, I think. Well, there's one I don't really care about, but the other ones you learn to really care for, and I think that that's smart. That's why I think I was able to kind of get through, that part of it, because there's a lot of detail in that part, I think, for sure.
Yeah, because you had we got introduced to Leo, who obviously
Yeah.
you had the character who had PTSD of what happened to his brother
Yeah.
when they would go diving. Then you had the character Des, which I'm sure this is everybody hate this character, which that's
You're
what
supposed
he's
to.
supposed to. Then you
Yeah.
had Will, the nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my favorite character was Tomo. He was the
The,
one that got the head injury.
the one who ate all the peaches.
He ate all the
Yeah.
peaches. He kept it like, oh, don't worry, everything's on the boat, and then they had to constantly
Every
remind
time
him.
he said that, I was laughing. I was like, this guy, oh God. Like yeah, he's like, no, it's okay. Everything's, yeah, he had like severe head trauma and he was on like La La Land. And that's the only reason they didn't push him in the water to begin with.
I was so mad that when he died though, because I started
Yeah.
liking him. He was that
Yeah.
one
He was
character like, "Man,
funny.
I hope he survives. I hope he survives. I hope he survives."
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about one scene in this film.
Hmm?
So Dez is a character who he thought he was the biggest and baddest of, during boot camp, and him and Leo had this rivalry.
Yeah.
Leo was charming. Let's be honest. Leo was
Yeah.
charming. He was the ladies' guy. He was the one that the two nurses were looking at
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
But you had their dynamic between both of them. But there's one scene in particular
Hmm.
where I think this is after they got attacked by a Japanese plane and they jump in the water. His One of his friends got shot up and he used him as a shield in the water. What did you think about that scene and like what happened when it was brought up afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you get a pretty good picture of who Dez is, even from the beginning. I mean, he's racist. He definitely feels like he exists on a different plane than everybody else, and he doesn't have anything to back it, right? I mean, Leo showed him up when they were having their little tussle in the water or whatever. But I think the other thing is like he kind of establishes himself very early on as the asshole. And so when that happened, I will be honest, like, as like, oh my God, as that is to think about something like that happening in real life, it wasn't very surprising. He like, it's weird. So, and like, I know some people may think like, oh, these types of people don't actually have survival instincts, but I think those types of people have a different type of survival instinct because they only care about themselves. And that underwater scene is so stressful too because you've got Will who's facing him. He's watching this happen, and the shark, the shadow of the shark, is like next to Will, and so there's a lot going on top of the fact that they're being shot at, they're having to jump in the water. There's all this blood, yada yada. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much who he is. I guess I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it, but like I think they sort of attempt to give him this like redemption arc, which kind of fell flat for me because I think he was a piece of shit. But he just yeah, he was not a good person from the beginning. And so it wasn't surprising. It was really honestly just kind of sad. It was like, Jesus, like I don't have anything like that in me. I could never do something like that. And then Will, who's kind of like a little baby, right? He's like the baby of the group. And the nice guy, he's seeing this happen at the same time that they're having to worry about all this other stuff. So it was a lot to kind of take in the moment, because there was a lot going on. But ultimately, I wasn't surprised by it. I just think it's who he was. And I had a feeling something with him was going to escalate at some point. He was going to put somebody in jeopardy one way or another. So it wasn't too surprising.
The crazy part too was like, and that scene was beautifully shot. But Will's in
Hmm.
there, and that's what I give. This movie had a lot of beautiful shots, and that one
Yes.
where Will's just coming, and I thought Will was gonna get killed. To be honest,
Yeah, me too.
and he's like stay still, and the fact that to, to show you more of an asshole how Des was, he actually squeezed his friend a little bit more so all the blood could come out to attract the shark even more, which is and then they confronted him about it, and he was like, oh, he was dead anyways, and him and Leo get into a fight, which I'm thinking, why are you guys fighting on the freaking raft? This is like the wrong
Yeah,
time
y'all
to
have
fight.
no space.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Will kind of pissed me off, especially the scene with the Japanese soldier.
Yeah, he does not have any survival instincts. He just, well, and you think too, like it shows you early on, like Leo protects him. And it's because Leo lost his younger brother, and I think Will kind of represents that for him. Is like that character where he's like, this could be someone I could take care of because I couldn't take care of Archie. And so I think that that's obviously like his archetype and his purpose. But yeah, when he did that, I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me right now? You have no fight. You don't know how to fight. You're not willing to use any of the things. I don't, oh, yeah, that part was frustrating.
Oh, he pissed me off because I'm sitting like, dude, throw the
Yeah.
grenade. This guy, he has a sword. He's gonna kick your ass. You guys are all wounded. It's not the right
Yeah.
time to
And
be.
you've been at this point, they'd been out to water for how, like days. Like it had
Yeah,
been days.
yeah, and the fact that I like that they showed the hallucination because that's one of the things I was reading a little bit, of the incident that happened with Armadale, where you had,
Yeah.
people experiencing hallucinations, wanting to throw themselves in the water.
Yeah.
You had Leo going through the thing where I have to do this, the shark's after me, you know,
Yeah.
which there's an arc with him at the end, which I'm like, oh, dude, but
Yeah.
you know, as far as I mean, we've always every year we get I think at least 4 or 5 shark films that come out,
Yes.
and I would say we agree that a majority of them are bad,
Yeah.
and we always looking for that one that surprises us. And
Mhm.
last year I think it was what Under Paris came out last
I
year.
loved Under Paris.
So yeah, we always have that one that surprises you
That
when
kind
it
of
comes out.
surpasses the
Yes, and they're not that many. And that's the bad part because this is
No.
a genre that we enjoy.
Yeah.
And this is a new entrant to the shark genre. So
Yeah.
what did you think of it as a new entrant of the shark movie? And I'm gonna, because I know you're a shark fanatic,
Yeah.
would you rank it in your top 10?
It's probably not quite top 10, maybe top 15. But I would say I think what I really like the most about it, one, we're going back to practical, which is always better. I don't care what anybody says. Because in 20 years, when you watch this movie, it's going to look just as good because it's practical. But I think the other thing is it goes to show you that there is something that can still be done within this subgenre of horror, where you have this shark situation, and it just shows you that like shark movies, like I know a lot of people totally dig on the really goofy over the top shark movies that are bad, and that's just not me. I like the dark, scary, like menacing monster ones. Those tend to be the ones that kind of get me, those make me a lot happier. But I think with this one is this really does show you that you can take a shark situation, and there's still more to be done with it. You can still create a story that has engaging characters, people you care about, with in-depth stories where the people playing them feel lived in, like these are actual people. And I think that that's hard, because a lot of times I feel like they do go the super silly route, right? And they don't, and there's not any depth because there's not meant to be. It's just meant to be silly and fun, and I think that's great too. There's a place for that. I like some of those. But to take something that's more of a serious version of a shark film and making it something like this, where there was a lot of story to be had and there was a lot going on outside of the shark, I think that was really cool to see, because a lot of them, some of them feel like maybe they weren't inspired by Jaws. Maybe like that's the only shark movie they've ever seen. So like they didn't do anything unique with it. Whereas this elevates that experience and it takes it into different territory. And I thought that was really cool. in general. I really like that part about it.
Yeah, this one I agree. It's top 15 for sure. And you have
Yeah.
mentioned something that's been big to me as of late is watching horror. See, the horror I'm starting to love even more now are the ones that if you have a great story, you're able
Hmm.
to separate the story from the actual horror elements and still have a film, then it's a good movie.
I agree. Yeah.
And this one is that because you can actually just take away the shark out of the equation and just put these guys surviving on the raft. That's a story. And then
It's
you
a
have
story.
the element of it's based on true events, not to the extreme of the film, of course, but
But yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then what I like about this film a lot too is you had the shark, one character, you had all these different characters on the raft, but as you're watching this film, the ocean itself was another character,
Yeah.
and I love that because you had the sea fog. These are things that weren't brought up in other films before. We're like, all right, you have the sea fog. Oh, they're not going to find us because you couldn't even
Yeah.
find us. So I love those elements. They threw all these elements of hopelessness,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I think this is what makes this film good. And if I was to take like the last couple of years of the shark films that we watched, that people talk about the most is Under Paris, great story. Once again, man messing with science, things go wrong, and then you took the fact that took place in the catacombs,
Cool.
which
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I go back to even some people like or dislike the film, but I love The Shallows because there's a story element
The
to it,
Shallows is cool. Yeah. I
and
finally saw that one. It was good.
it's so good because you love the character.
You
You
care.
you
Yeah.
care, yeah. You care for the character. She's
Yeah.
there, good intent. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know why would you you know, start heading towards a big carcass of a whale because that's just a bad sign.
Yeah, valid.
But the
Yeah.
story of that was good. The cinematography was good in it. So
Yeah.
this is something that should be a trend when it comes to shark films.
Yep.
Get a good story, get good
Yep.
characters.
Yeah.
When I watched this film, I mean, you know me by now. I watched a lot of films and I try to rewrite them in my head how I would do it. And when I started watching this one, I was like, all right, what if they would have started on the raft first and then go, the backstory of the characters? I don't think that would work because get the backstory out of the way first. Let's get,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
which they did in this film. This film it surprised me, I'll be honest, because I
Yeah.
had no expectations.
Me either.
So because we've been disappointed with so many shark films. So you go in already with like,
This low bar.
yeah. But
Yeah.
this one surprised me. I enjoyed this
Yeah.
one. It was a first watch for me. I'll definitely go watch it again
Same.
because there's certain things I want to see if I catch it, second time around. But
Yeah.
with this show, the overall arcing question is: after watching this film, being it's off the coast of Australia, would this make you wary of? Let's say you're on a boat of what's below the surface, waiting for you in these
Yeah.
waters.
I would say so. I mean, I grew up even scared to be in my pool at nighttime because I thought like that magically sharks were going to appear there. I'm like I'm so afraid. I respect sharks. I think they're beautiful. They're very cool to learn about, but ultimately I respect them enough to stay out of their way. And so I think water in general has always made me uneasy, but I think there were scenes in this that had me thinking about, or like the moments where like just their fingers would be in the water or something, and you're just like you're so on unease that you can't like. It's just very uncomfortable, and I think it's been a while for me since the shark movie kind of made me feel that way. Even as much as I loved Under Paris, I don't think it gave that same feeling of eerie that this did because of just how dark everything. And you kind of touched on this. This is an extremely cinematic movie.
Yes.
It is beautifully shot. Aside from the characters, aside from the gore, aside from the shark, there are scenes in this that are absolutely stunning. And I think that darkness and that ambiance it created made those moments worse. So, yeah, I would say this would make it worse for me for sure.
I love the fact that me too. I'm sorry if you want to watch some films that are based off Australia as far as shark films, go watch The Reef 2010, which is
Yeah, The Reef is good.
crazy as hell.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good though.
Bait 2012, which is another good
Bait.
shark film.
Is that one Australian too?
It's Australian as
I
well.
knew that. I love Bait. Bait's a really underrated one. That's a great one.
Dangerous Animals 2021, which could have
So
been a lot better if they would have focused more on the sharks in the film. But
it was still pretty good though. That
it
one was still
was.
pretty good.
It was.
Yeah.
And of course, Open Water 3 Cage Dive,
Cage Dive.
based off Australia. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would love to go to Australia, but I'm not going
No,
nowhere
not in
near
the
the freaking
water.
water. But then again, you got to worry about dingoes and alligators and all sorts of
Don't they
crazy
also have like
creatures.
really big snakes and
They
spiders
do. They
and
do.
everything? Just in
I
fact,
don't know.
just don't go there.
That's like a survival horror movie. Just living there, I can
Just
imagine.
live in there. Yeah, no thanks.
But yeah, overall, I enjoy this movie. Just definitely
Mhm.
watch it. It's streaming right now on, I think it's AMC Plus.
Yep.
So definitely
And
watch it.
Shudder.
And
I
Shudder,
watched it on
yes.
Shudder. Yep.
It's a good entrant to the shark genre, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
you know, hopefully more directors and who love sharks take notice of what was done in this film, because once again, I agree with the cinematography, just gorgeous. And I
Beautiful.
love the fact that they would show the raft and break it to below the surface of the water, go in slow motion. There's a shark,
Yeah.
which is all you need to do in the film. Fuck CGI.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so well done. I mean, yeah, it's such a beautiful movie. They did such a great job. They took it very seriously, and I think it has a very high payoff as a result.
I think that's the advantage of being able to write and direct your own film, because now
Yeah,
you have your vision. This guy's doing great films, and I'm rooting for him. I think
yeah,
this is his fourth film he's done, so definitely
yeah.
stay on the right track. Give us a little bit more. Give us saltwater crocodile, because nobody has done that yet.
That would be, yeah. And I like the couple of movies like that exist, like the alligator movies. Those are good. I would love to see something like that. That'd be crazy.
Which go watch Rogue, which I think Rogue is based in
Rogue is
Australia
good.
too.
Yeah, Rogue was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
So,
lot of people parts in Rogue though,
oh yeah, a
but it was still good.
lot of good scenes though. A lot of good scenes in
Yeah,
that
good
one.
scenes. Yeah.
That's actually going to be on a later episode. So if you want to come back for that one,
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay. Yeah.
Angel, once again, thank you for joining me with this one.
Thanks for having me.
She
Yeah.
would have killed me. See, listen, I would have jumped in the water because she would have killed me. I take the chances with the shark than I will with Angel when it comes to this. But thank you for joining me on this one. You'll see Angel on maybe some live streams coming up.
Hopefully, yeah.
Definitely some shows, like I already mentioned. She'll be on 2 more episodes. Gotta work our schedule so she could be on those.
Yeah.
And thank you once again. This is a good shark film. Definitely watch it. We're gonna have more films coming your way, different varieties of things below the surface. But till next time, this is JR. That is Angel. Please follow her. Her link will be below. So definitely, she has good content on her channel. She is big for the horror community. And we're looking to, in 2026, continue expanding the horror community. And listen, we love doing what we're doing, but we love working with one another and getting more people out there. So, till next time, peace.